Even an egg is not so miserable because it will hatch. But the body has only one way to go. If that is what you are, that's miserable situation. So you allow your mind to develop that, a clear understanding that from body point of view, it's perishable. And therefore, you should not hold on to your mind constant fear of death, constant worry, how long will I live, constant stress, what will happen if I'm gone. Om yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarot tam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. I offer adorations to the best of sages, Sage Patañjali, who gave to the world the scripture of yoga for purifying the citta, the whole mental process. And he was not satisfied. Then he gave the scripture of Vairāgya, which is Ayurvedic medicine, for purifying the body. The body is your temple, has to be purified. And then, he was not satisfied still. He gave the scripture of grammar to purify your tongue. The body, tongue, and mind, all are involved. And to that sage we offer our adoration. We are in the stage of introducing Rāja Yoga Sūtras. The first sutra, to reiterate, Atha Yoganushāsanam, which simply means we commence the discipline of yoga. And that details we have given to you before. Yoga citta-vritti nirodha. This defines what yoga is. Controlling the vrittis of the mind. This is known as yoga. The sutra is like a thread. Many great thoughts are threaded into it. First term, yoga, has to be well understood. Yoga ordinarily means junction of the two. You are joining the soul with God. In a higher level, yoga is viyoga. You are separating yourself from illusions of the world. Gita defines that. And yoga term has entered into other literature, because all these Sanskrit literature is very profound, early stage of language that has filtered into all different languages. So what can we imagine? English, yoke. Yoke term comes a modification of yoga. Sometimes some people don't pronounce ga well, so comes yoke. Yoking together, which has the same implication. Controlling the vrittis of the mind. The control has two implications. As in the stage of sadhana, discipline, your goal is always to know that you are separate from all that your mind thinks of, and all the mind that is holding in secret. The mind is not a simple entity, very complex. So all that you know of your mind in a conscious way, that is not all. There are two more levels. One is subconscious, another is unconscious. Subconscious is closer to your conscious mind. That is explained by explaining to you Vāsanās, subtle desires, subtle inclinations, that you are very easily you are aware of. And you can, having first understood the importance of the Vāsanās, how they impact upon your life, they are the architect of your destiny, how you create your karmas, how will you live through this world with gain or with loss. All will depend upon Vāsanās, the subtle inclinations. First, to understand that you have a choice. You are not a slave for those Vāsanās. When you realize that your mind is tending to sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, that also you have to understand implications. Mind comes under the influence of sattva. Then it is very serene. It likes to be very peaceful. And all goodness within you begins to express. The rajas, on the other hand, is like a flamboyant tree. It likes to show off a lot. But has nothing to give to you. So the Vāsanās that are like flamboyant type, that you get it easily by going into a crowd, parties. You don't have any other outside parties, create a party at home. It's very easy to do it. If nobody assists you, then create a party in your website, Twitter. So that way you are nourishing those rajasic Vāsanās. Then there is tamasic Vāsana. Being entertained by negative things. You hear these stories of criminals, where they are hiding, how people are trying to locate the person. And you go after it and follow the whole thing like a big story. And we're relieved when he has been found. More relieved when he is sentenced. Which has no impact on you, but your Vāsana has enjoyed a tamasic Vāsana. If you allow rajasic, tamasic Vāsanas to flourish, you are degrading yourself. You will find yourself living in a world that dominates you. You have no control over it. You are losing the inner sense of freedom. When sattva begins to develop, that's a positive movement. But if sattva is not well developed, is under the control of rajas and tamas, then even that sattva that comes to you doesn't help you. It helps you to slip more into rajas and tamas. So now, all the details will come to you gradually. But early stage of these sutras are pointing to the climax. It's just like you take someone to a trip, and from a distance you say, look, that's the Himalayan mountain, and that's the Kailasha mountain. Your finger begins to point where you are being planned to go. So this is what you are being planned. Citta-vritti nirodha. All the vrittis of the mind that create all your experiences in the world. All your experiences. The experience of the body, the experience of your mind, your senses, the experience of the whole universe before you. All that has been created by thought waves of the mind. It is very similar to how a cinema show is created. You are all relaxed, and out of a blank screen, suddenly there emerges a very entertaining and exciting and suspenseful and tear-jerking, laughter-provoking, all types of things. And this whole continuity of picture that you see is broken up by frame after frame. Each frame is a vritti. In between the two frames, the screen alone is looking at you continuously. But we are lost in the illusion created by the continuity of frames. Similarly, deep down, you are eternal, the absolute seer, the absolute knower, the absolute experiencer. And as such, there is no world process, there is no time, no space, no sense of duality. There is absolutely no, it's just like look at the sun. There is no space for darkness in the sun. Absolutely free of darkness. But your thought waves now begin to create an illusion. And you begin to experience time, space, causation. All the details will follow later, more. But presently I'm giving you the basic, more profound level of understanding. Firstly, Nirodha term control implies to attain an enlightenment. So even while the vrittis continue, you are the master. It's just like the sky. You feel you are the sky. Once that feeling has come, it does not depend upon the state of clouds, whether the clouds are there or clouds are not there. So that is Nirodha, to attain that state when vrittis are transcended by you. Another state, the vrittis being in the realm of illusion, they don't exist. So once an enlightened sage comes to an end of his personality, there is absolute liberation, nothing, no more to come back to. Now, to understand the vrittis and what do they do? Your vrittis create 5 states. Mudha, dull. Kshipta, distracted. Vikshipta is sattvic mind, not distracted, but not enlightened. Ekagrata, now you are entering into a divine level. Mind has become so purified that you see yourself, your reality, I am that, with absolute clarity. In the beginning, there was a kind of confusion. The sun is up there and the reflected sun here. And an illusion has developed. The reflected sun says, I am the only one. The sun simply shines on. And due to ignorance, you are not able to separate that as a reflected sun, you are in turmoil. You are never the same. You are resting on the mercy of water. Imagine how degraded that would be. And when Viveka enters, you realize that which is at the mercy of the water, that is not me. The ego in me, that's not me. I am, that am I. That's the level ekagrata, if mind were to come to that. And that's promoted by profound meditation. And final state, you come to a state, your mind has absolutely no influence on you. Influence implying doesn't limit you in any way. And it is just like a cloud drenched with light. There's only one way to go, dissolve. Dissolve, gone. Going, gone. Now, again, coming back to each state, Mudha. 4 points have to be kept in view. If your life moves to create dharma is ethical value, Vairāgya, a sense of mastery. The things that you enjoy, the world that is around you, you are not a slave. Therefore, the illusion that builds up in your mind, I can't live without some object or without a person. That illusion has to be broken. Moha-based relations. Moha is delusion-based. In divine plan, led by your karma, your soul enters into so many relationships. And it would be impossible for any guru or any teacher to go on telling, don't be attached, don't be attached. So nature simply pushes you out of all. From one embodiment to another. In one movement, all that you were aware of was your reality. You wrote a very big book about it. And all you moved away from you. So Vairāgya has to develop if you are living a healthy life. First to know that your life here has a limit. How limited? The scriptures have made a poetic way of saying 7 days. So Bhagavad Puran, he recited with that story. A king came to realize he had to live only for 7 days. And he lived it so well, but in that 7 days he attained enlightenment. And from a broad point of view, everyone lives exits the world one of the 7 days, you see. Have you seen anybody dying beyond the 7 days? You see? It will be either Sunday, Monday. So. So if you were to go on, have a clear understanding and not feel miserable about it, rather feel a sense of purpose, sense of joy, a sense of understanding that you are not bounded with the body. With the body, you are not even an egg is not so miserable because it will hatch. But the body has only one way to go. If that is what you are, that's miserable situation. So you allow your mind to develop that, a clear understanding that from body point of view, it's perishable. And therefore, you should not hold on to your mind constant fear of death, constant worry, how long will I live, constant stress, what will happen if I am gone. Put it another way, think of others. What will happen if they are gone? So the mind becomes so engrossed with all that. The impressions of constant agitation, sorrow, stress, it deprives you of your reason. Like rust develops on a mirror, it cannot reflect anymore. That state is called mudha, dull-wit state. As I was saying, these points, dharma, if you move away from ethical value of life, you are allowing your mind to become dull. Ethical values, do good. Be good, do good. Follow the path of righteousness. Be sincere, be truthful. If we are truthful, we are less complicated. To hold on to a lie, that requires a lot of problem. How to hold a cup of mirage water in your hand. You have to move one hand to the other and start showing people that you have a lot of problem holding. Therefore, if your mind understands the basic ethical values, then you will not get into dull state. So this is the basic ethical value, dharma. Vairāgya, a constant understanding that you are soul. Soul cannot be dominated by matter. Therefore, an internal detachment, a detachment that is not cold indifference, but a very joyous sense of being strong. Let me give you another illustration. Suppose it's a swimming pool and someone is drowning in it. You should be also expert in swimming if you want to jump and save the person. If you say, I have a lot of compassion, what can I do? I just jumped into it and you began to drown. The proper setting is that you remain strong. You have the courage to know that this water is not going to drown me. then only you can jump and help the person in an effective way. So that's what Vairāgya relates to. The person who has that attitude of swimming through it without being affected. That art, that development, that inner insight of being detached, unaffected, that goes on growing, that's called Vairāgya. In the early stage, it sounds like you have to constantly separate from objects that tempt you. And one of the best things to do is to shout at them. But that's early stage, and it has its own value. Because sometimes you treat yourself, if you have done something wrong to your health, then for a few days you have to put yourself in great discipline. So there are certain stages when discipline has to go into your mind. Look at the things that have distracted your mind and go on thinking of all ugly things about them. All the negative, all the defects of the pleasures of the senses. But as you advance, that's not, it moves away. Your mind is simply like the swimmer, one who knows how to swim. You are ready to save people who are sinking in it, helping them to learn how to move into the world. Third point is jnana, knowledge. Your knowledge relates to purity of intellect and purity of feeling. There are two aspects, jnana and bhakti. Light and love. Jnana, figuratively speaking, is light. And another aspect, love. And the last, and the fourth one, these are highlights, highlighted features. Aishwarya, a sense of lordliness. You are the Lord, the world is a slave. And therefore, your existence will be like a blossoming tree, full of blossoms, full of fruits, lots of branches. No arrogance, bowing down. Even ready to respond to a person who throws sticks up there to give a gift of a fruit. I have a little fault to dramatize. That Aishwarya develops, that you are behind all the majesty of the world. If you were a wave, then you have no Aishwarya. You are just tossed about by any other wave. But if you are the ocean, you have the immense majesty. If you are a reflection, then you have no majesty. But if you realize I am the sun, the supreme majesty, but try to figure out like a mathematics. From that state of being reflected, just a reflection confined to a state of freedom, the sun, various degrees are there. As you ascend, this Aishwarya goes on increasing until you are Ishvara, you are God, the controller of all. If you allow your mind to be constantly involved with anger, hate, greed, malas, various impurities, and you don't have any other way to go, just keep your mind day by day. related miseries of the mind, stress, constant fear, constant involvement in falsehood. Enormous energy of your mind gets trapped. If you imagine how much the mental energy is used in a single day and how much is abused, you will be surprised. But once negative develops in a person becomes surprised. I never did any harm to anybody. So coming back again, that if you continue with tamas predominating thought waves, allowing your mind to move, do things against ethical values, things that against Vairāgya, that lead you to become too involved, against jnana, against the understanding, allowing your understanding to blossom, allowing your heart to experience divine love, and thereby not allowing your sense of joy and glory. If you oppose these, the mind becomes mudha, burdened by impressions of fear, illusions, deluded thoughts. Mudha means people live their whole life, but very rarely they have a little ray of real happiness. And that's the predicament of masses, countless people. The whole life, sit with them, what do they remember? No one is their loved one they remember. People will go on talking against their own son, their own daughter, how much they loved and how they changed. Even during Christmas, they didn't even call. I'm just dramatizing little things. Days after days, you go on talking. Sum up all their talks. What was substantial? You shared a lot of sadness, stories of misery, illusions. So it becomes important to learn the art of creating a satsanga. Squeeze your way in such a way that you bring out a topic that brings you the idea of Jesus, Buddha, great personalities, Mahatma Gandhi, sages. And the power of prayer, japa, surrender, grace. Lots to talk about. Now the next is called kshipta. It's a higher state. Mudha is the dull wit. It's like look into a jar. It's water. And we're looking for reflected sun in it. But the water is extremely muddy. So the reflection is absolutely little. That's the state of mudha, state of mind. Next state, distracted. Now suppose, now again let me think of one terminology. In Mudha state, vritti is called ghor. Ghor means terrible. Now, kshipta state. Suppose water has cleared up, not completely, but sufficient to allow the reflection. But it has developed another strange quality. It shakes. Constant shaking. So there is no focus on who am I. There is a constant focus on what I desire. And that creates their impressions. In this world of lots of desires, you have lots of frustrations, lots of illusions, lots of enemies built up, enormous problems. And those impressions, they become the basis of countless karmas. Your desires are not fulfilled in one life. You need life, millions of lives. Even then they are not fulfilled. Trishna na jirna vayameva jirna. Your craving never ages. You age. So this state is characterized by rajas. Rajas predominates. Next stage is sattva. You are bringing into your mind a little of satsang, a little of good charity. You are dealing with, coming into contact with people who are righteous. But you are not too deeply engrossed. But you have evolved a lifestyle of simplicity to a great extent, and you have learned some of the simple methods to keep yourself free of unnecessary entanglements with people. But you have not gone into deep philosophy. So therefore, in vikshipta state, you remain a very ideal person, but during provocation, you will not be that ideal person. So, from practical point of view, it is the high-class people who are very wonderful. They come in vikshipta level, but they are not ready to attain enlightenment because they have not removed the cause, that subtle seeds of anger and hate, losing temper, all that has not gone away. So therefore, coming back to those 4 points I have told you, if you have mudha state, you are going against dharma, ethical value, vairāgya, increasing detachment, jnana, clarity of understanding, aishwarya, a sense of glory, power. In kshipta state, you swing between dharma and adharma. One day you have been very, very good, generous. Next day you go after the person whom you have given you. With interest you want to get things back. In vikshipta state, there is more progress in dharma, vairāgya, jnana and aishwarya. And that progress will continue if you come under good association. If you go into negative association, then you will lose that progress. In ekagrata state, you have become a full-fledged yogi in an advanced level. And the next fifth is a spontaneous. You become absolutely liberated. These are called avasthas of the mind. Avastha means moods. You are not recognized by your mood. You may be in an advanced level, but at a certain time someone meets you and you are not in that level. On that basis, one should not judge you. So it is very subtle point to understand the difference between Sthiti and Avasthā. Avasthā is something comes to you, a passing state. That is not you. Sthiti, that's where you are centered. So of these five, a person can be centered. First to start, suppose a person is centered in mudha, absolute dull. But he can also come into kshipta level. But he will not be comfortable with it. He can come into vikshipta level. He can put on a dress of monks and sannyasis and come into very advanced level. And for a while he can fool people and fool himself. But he is not comfortable there. He is showing, he is trying to act. Where he is comfortable, in the state of being dull, then he feels the real one. That's how the scripture portray demons, like Ravana, Kumbhakarna. They do amazing austerities, etc. But they are comfortable with all the ugliest things of life. Same way, one who is in vikshipta level, predominantly sattvic, good person, there will be karmas from your past operate in a strange way. Sometimes good karmas are operating and the mind becomes sattvic. Sometimes it becomes a little rajasic. When it becomes rajasic, you are not in the state of vikshipta. The sattvic state shows a mood of kshipta, distracted. But you are not distracted person. Because what you are showing is only a transient development. This is not what you are. So even while you study yourself, all this is important to understand. You can be practicing a lot of sadhana, and even though you have gained higher footing, lesser sometimes enter your mind. That doesn't mean that you have gone down. It simply means that as the train goes on, you open the window and saw something drastic in the water outside. In other words, it is something so transient. You shouldn't let your mind be steeped in it. You should not define yourself on the basis of dreams that arise in your mind, little thoughts flood in your mind. Your mind is in a universal level. You go on building your deeper core. And And in the case of one who has attained enlightenment, he may show again all these, but extremely in a trifle manner. For example, put your hand in water, calm water. Water ruffles up. Look into it, it's calm again. That state is in the state of enlightenment. You may say, why should he have even that? If he doesn't have even that, there will be no way of communicating with people. And that is not distorting him. Clouds don't limit the sky. The whole world experience becomes like clouds, fleecy clouds. So that's avasthā, things that come for a short duration. Sthiti is that where you are rooted. Your goal is to be rooted in the highest level, called citta-bhūmi in the Gita's terminology. Rooted in intuitional revelation. I am that am I. The seer in you, the experiencer, has moved away from ego, mind, intellect, and no longer resting in the waters of illusion. That's the goal. You have sufficient food for thought. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.